Many of you seen pages like this, and this while doing security testing. The majority do not know what could be done after getting these pages. Well, those are very interesting areas to look for hidden treasures. Sometimes you can access truly sensitive files through these pages if you are dedicated enough. It's time to explore the topic of content discovery. Firstly, there are a couple of tools what you could use to discover hidden directories and files. My personal favorite is FFUF. I'm using it like 90% of the time, although for simple runs, the research is a good option. If I aim for recursive content discovery, the Ferrok Buster looks like a solid option as well. To show all features of these tools, it could take a long time, so I will only show my favorite tool, FFUF. To discover hidden areas of website, you're going to need to have good collection of word lists. If you have seen my active DNS recon video, I have mentioned one of the word lists I do use, Seclists. It's like the most favorite by many testers even to this day, even though some of those word lists could be old. But a repository is being updated even up to this day. For content discovery specifically, you need to navigate to discovery, then web content. It really depends on what you're targeting and what you're trying to achieve, which word list to choose from. For instance, I like to use raft directories word list to discover directories initially. Depends on really how many requests the server can handle. According to that, I will choose the size of word list on the go. Generally, I recommend starting small and later checking with bigger word lists. The next interesting set of word lists is from Godfather Orwa. It's pretty good for initial fuzzing if you know or presume which tech stack the server is using. Even though the most of word lists were updated 2 years ago, I still get some good hits. Another one to use if you don't know what you are going after or just want to check for general leaky stuff is OneListForAll. It's pretty well maintained and extremely huge word list if you are using the main one. As the repository states, it's ROCU for web fuzzing. And if you know what ROCU is, it's very huge word list with list of passwords that pen testers use for cracking. Personally, I do use OneListForAll micro initially, then OneListForAll short txt if I get more interested to that specific target. I only leave the main word list overnight in the background when I'm going to sleep. If you want to form main word list, use alpha.sh to do so. Last one is also my favorite when I do not really know what tech stack I'm going after initially. Or sometimes it could be custom fuzzing for certain files. For instance, if I am looking for log or backup files. The words.txt file contains almost 500,000 English words. Sometimes I do use words alpha.txt file if I know that there is no case sensitivity on the target server. So it's pretty unique one. For demonstrating this tool, I will use ff.me and labs hackexpert.com. Firstly, let's check ff.me since it's pretty good resource to gain foundational knowledge. In the first example, this command uses common txt word list, which could be found on Seclists. It also could be used as the first word list when you approach your target website. But for me at least, it's a bit small, since in real world applications it could be not enough. Usually I suggest using graph directories word list and OneListForAll micro.txt. As an example, I will try OneListForAll micro.txt in the terminal. As you probably see, it was good enough for this purpose. Now let's try next lab. This time it suggests using recursion flag. Usually for this I do use more Wordlist with Ferox Buster tool, but let's try doing with FFUF instead. I presume that the mentioned raft Wordlist will work just fine in this case. My initial guess was right. I did succeed finding admin/users/95 endpoint. Let's try the next lab. This time it's about checking file extensions. The FFUF tool has a -e flag where you can specify multiple extensions. In this case it's log. If you decide to use this one, my recommendation is to use directory Wordlist or English word directory dictionary if you are going for long run. Instead of raft, we can also try using directory Wordlist within same Seclist directory. It does indeed succeeded. Now the next lab we can learn a little bit about filtering. In this example it shows filtering by the response size in bytes. The FFUF tool has another filtering options like by words, by status code, etc. But it's time to try with response byte size. It have succeeded as well. Usually I use flags like this on the go to filter out a lot of results. Now next lab is actually out of scope of this video, so let's try hack expert labs right now. If you checked my last XSS bypass WAF bypass video, from that point on these labs appearance have changed in a good way. It's pretty good area actually to train before doing bug hunting. Feel free to support these labs for being alive. Now let's go to other, fuzzing and intruder. If you have noticed, these labs are actually made for learning about burps intruder. Even though it could be used for content discovery as well, I will stick to the FFUF. Let's try the first lab. I will copy the link since it will look a little bit more different if I access it directly here. And right now it's for password guessing from this password list. So I will use this list as the word list. And as you see, if I submit the password, this parameter will appear right here. So firstly, let's create the word list. Let's use nano for that. I will just call A and copy this endpoint, and of course use FFUF. I will use U flag, and instead of A I will use fuzz. And for the word lists I will use that already made one. And of course, what we already learned, we need to filter out by the size. So FS flag could be used. Alternatively, you could use FV for words, for lines FL, for status code FT, as C stands for code, but I will use FS, and there are 815 mostly, so let's try using this and try running again. And as you can see, 3 times the password is being shown here, so let's try submitting the query here. And as you can see, it's correct password. Let's try other labs. So maybe the second one. I won't use all the labs since you might want to try these labs yourself as well. So let's try guess the correct number between 0 and 100. Yeah, so sometimes you might need to be a little bit more tricky, not use default word list. You could alternatively create yourself. So I will use Bash for this. You can use any other programming language, or you can even generate online, but I will try using here. Let's try 0, 100 like this. Let's try echoing first. Let's see. Nope, I need 2 dots. Yeah, like this, and I need maybe remove A. I will pass the data to the A word list. So if I cat A, it will look like this. And once again, I need, let me check, maybe I will access this slab directly, like right here, and try to submit 0, for instance. And here, copy this URL, use FFUF, U flag for URL, and replace fuzz, and use word list like in this directory A. Of course, again, I need to filter out by the response size, so FS432. And let's see which one is correct. 54. So let's submit it, and as you see, it's pretty good. Alternatively, you can fuzz for parameters, but I think I will create other video just for fuzzing parameters as well. But just use this knowledge what we learned today just for content discovery. These were just an initial steps for learning content discovery. The more in-depth detail guide will come pretty soon. Some of you might seen that I'm planning to do live hacking, so I will show this along with other hacking skills in more detail. As always, it was my pleasure, and enjoy hacking.